AP Poll Top 25, Week 5, just released, hot off the presses. This is our rapid reaction here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. I have not seen it. Let's get right into it. Before we get into it, please leave your comments on the comment section below the video. Please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and please share the video with your family and friends. Let's get right into it. We're not going to waste any time. Here is the top 25 just released going into Week 5. Other teams receiving votes: TCU with 1, Tulane 3, UCLA, big loss, they have 3 votes. LSU 9, North Carolina gets throttled by Notre Dame with 9 votes. Texas Tech, big win against Texas, 11 votes. Oregon State played a tough game, tough loss to USC. They have 16 votes. Syracuse goes 4-0. The Syracuse Orangemen defeats Virginia 22-20 in a tough game, and they have 22 votes. Washington State takes a step back. They lose a tough one, a late one, to the Oregon Ducks. They have 31 votes. Florida, 56 votes. Again, they lose a tough one to Tennessee. Cincinnati wins big versus Indiana. They have 60 votes. And look at the Kansas Jayhawks. The Kansas Jayhawks just outside the top 25 with 125 votes. Congratulations to Lance Leipold and the Kansas fan base. Everybody associated with that football program. What a season for the Kansas Jayhawks. A remarkable turnaround. Season 2, only season 2 for Lance Leipold. They're in the 26th spot, just outside the top 25. And Kansas State, their rival, the 25th spot, as they defeat the Oklahoma Sooners in Oklahoma. A great run by Adrian Martinez, the transfer quarterback from Nebraska. He was a starter for 4 years. 4 years at Nebraska. Couldn't win a close game at the end, a big game. He transfers to Kansas State. He beats Oklahoma, the team that Oklahoma just defeated, throttled Nebraska last week. If that doesn't put a bow tie in the Scott Frost era at Lincoln, Nebraska, I don't know what does. Kansas State, big win, 25. Pittsburgh, 24. They defeated Rhode Island, 45-24. Florida State, the 23rd spot, they are 4-0. They defeated Boston College, 44-14 in a blowout. Wake Forest loses to Clemson, 51-45 in overtime. They go down a spot. Oh, I wanted Wake Forest to win that game. Clemson survives. Wake Forest, Sam Hartman was brilliant. They're 3-1. They remain in the top 25. And look at here. The Minnesota Golden Gophers crush Michigan State Spartans at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, 34-7. The game was never in doubt. Tanner Morgan goes 23 of 26. Mohamed Ibrahim goes over 100 yards again. Minnesota defense is elite. The Gophers 4-0, finally in the top 25 where they should be. Arkansas drops 10 spots. Now that surprises me. 10 spots. The voters were not kind to the Arkansas Razorbacks. They lose to Texas A&M 23-21. They clank the game-winning field goal off the top of the goalpost. I mean, so if that doesn't clank, if it clanks in, Arkansas is a top 10 team, but it clanks out, so they're sitting in the 20th spot. Tough loss at Texas A&M. BYU was idle. They beat Wyoming 38-24. They defeated Wyoming Cowboys 38-24. They stay in the 19th spot. Oklahoma drops 12 spots as they lose to Kansas State, and it was at home. It was at home to an unranked squad. I understand that. Oklahoma 18th. Texas A&M survives another scare. They defeat Arkansas 23-21. They're in the 17th spot. I think that's fair. I don't think they should be any higher than 17. Again, leave your comments down in the comments section below of the video. Baylor defeats Iowa State 31-24. Some controversy in that game, but Baylor wins. I think they're going to keep moving up. They're going to keep moving up as the year goes on. I still think they're going to win the Big 12. Washington Huskies defeat Stanford 40-22. They are blowing people out. They blew Michigan State out. They just blew Stanford out. 40-22. Here comes the Washington Huskies. Ole Miss. Ole Miss defeats Tulsa 35-27. That Tulsa team's a tough team to play against. They throw the ball all over the field. Ole Miss running game continues to move. Ole Miss has got a tough game next week. We'll go over that tomorrow. Ole Miss moves up to the 14th spot. Oregon wins in a thriller, late TD. Defeats Washington State 44-41. They survive. They move up 2 spots, 13th. I also think that's fair. I really have no problems with this top 25 thus far. No problems at all. It looks like this is what I would have it as well. Utah moves up a spot. They're in the 12th spot. They defeat the Arizona State Sun Devils 34-13 as Arizona State starts looking for their new head coach, the new leader. Utah is ready to roll. Penn State moves up 3 spots. They defeat Central Michigan 33-14. Sean Clifford, Nick Singleton, that beautiful secondary they got, led by Joey Porter Jr. Penn State almost in the top 10. Almost in the top 10. And here is the top 10. North Carolina State is now 10th. I thought they would be. I got some heat on Twitter, but I think that's the right spot. They defeat UConn 41-10, and they've got some big games coming up. They play Syracuse in an undefeated matchup, ACC matchup. North Carolina State has the 10th spot. Oklahoma State defeats Arkansas Pine Bluff 63-7. They remain in the 9th spot. They are a top 10 team. And here comes the Tennessee Volunteers. They win a close one, a thriller against Florida, 38-33. Tennessee is a top 10 team, and I truly believe they are a top 10 team. Remember, they were not ranked in the top 25 at the beginning of the year. I pounded my table that was wrong, that the voters got it wrong. It looks like I was right on this case. I was wrong about Michigan State, but we're going to forget about that. Tennessee Volunteers, 8th spot in the country. Kentucky's number 7. They didn't look all that impressive. They defeated the MAC team, Northern Illinois, 31-23, but they move up a spot. USC moves up a spot. They defeated Oregon State 17-14. They won it with interceptions. They won it with their defense. Offense had some issues, but USC is the 6th ranked team in the country. I think Lincoln Riley has to be pretty happy with himself. And I think the USC Trojan fan base have to be pretty happy as well. I think they're ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule. Clemson stays at the number 5 spot. I'm glad they didn't move up to number 4. Let's see how close they are with Michigan. But Clemson is number 5. They win in overtime, defeated Wake Forest. This is not the Clemson team of a few years ago. Don't believe they're a national contender. I do not believe they're going to win the ACC championship. I believe the Wolfpack, North Carolina State's going to do it. But Clemson remains number 5. Michigan. Okay, so they're still pretty close to Clemson. And they also had a tough game. They defeated a much improved Maryland Terrapin squad 34-27. Michigan got pushed around a little bit. That defensive line, they lost some NFL players last year. The defensive line got pushed around by Maryland's offensive line. That's something that we got to look at in the next few weeks. I had Michigan going undefeated until they play Ohio State at the end of the season. I had Michigan in the conference in the national playoffs with Ohio State. Georgia and Alabama, we did see some weakness. And J.J. McCarthy misfired on long downfield throws. We're going to keep an eye on that as well. The young guy, J.J. McCarthy, was a little rattled on Saturday, but they hold on to the 4th spot. Who is the 3rd? Could it be Georgia? No, it's still Ohio State. I thought maybe they'd move up into the... I'm sorry. I thought maybe Alabama would be the 3rd spot and Ohio State will move up to the 2nd spot. That did not happen. Ohio State Buckeyes blow out the Wisconsin Badgers at home. Prime time with their alternative uniforms, the red lights flashing. Ohio State Buckeyes 52, Badgers 21. They remain in the 3rd spot. Alabama 4 votes ahead of Ohio State. Alabama remains the 2nd spot, the 2nd ranked team in the country. They defeat Vanderbilt 55-3, but those two teams, Alabama with 1,487 votes, Ohio State 1,483 votes. They both received 4 first-place votes. They're neck and neck. And the Georgia Bulldogs, national champions, number one ranked team in the country. They defeated Kent State 39-22. Those are your top 25. Honestly, a peek around the corner, I think that looks good. I'm glad they didn't have Clemson moving past Michigan in the 4th spot. I do believe USC and Kentucky should be 6 and 7. Because if not them, then who? Who would you have there? Oklahoma State? I think maybe you can make a slight argument for that. They really haven't beat that one big team yet. They had trouble in week 1. They gave up a lot of points. North Carolina State, I don't think you can move them up because of their East Carolina performance in week 1. I think Kentucky and USC should be the 6 and 7. Penn State, 11. I think they should be there. Maybe you can make a good argument that Ole Miss and Washington should be ahead of Oregon. Not be so much for Oregon's loss against Georgia. I mean, it was a blowout. That didn't help. But Oregon's close win against Washington State. Very clear. They could have lost that game very easily. So maybe you would have Oregon at 15 and Ole Miss and Washington ahead of them. Baylor, Texas A&M, I think they got them in the right spot. Oklahoma took a big fall. They lost at home to an unranked Kansas State. I think that's fair enough. Arkansas took a big drop. Not sure about that. I'm not sure about Arkansas taking that big a drop. I would have Arkansas ranked ahead of Oklahoma. That's the one big difference. Minnesota, Gophers, I'm heavily biased, but I think that's fair. Wake Forest, Florida State, Pittsburgh, Kansas State, and the Kansas Jayhawks, number 26. There was a lot of things that happened this week in week 4, and we're going to head to week 5. On Tuesday, we're going to make our predictions against the spread. We're 18 and 16 on the year. We're going to talk about our picks from week 4 here coming up Tuesday. We took a hit. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. It looks like Jeff Collins of Georgia Tech, the head coach, looks like he's going to be fired on Monday. It sounds like reports out of Georgia that there's going to be some meeting. The athletic director and decision makers are going to meet on Monday. The athletic director, Stanberry, could be out of his job too. We don't know. That's the speculation. But a lot of rumblings out of Georgia Tech. We also heard from Mark Coyle, the athletic director, a report out of the St. Paul Pioneer Press, Andy Greer, a writer, talking about how the athletic directors of the Big Ten are going to Chicago this week. They're going to try to finalize the 2023 football schedule, so we'll have more on that. Plus, I think this is an important week for conference realignment, possible conference realignment, or can it be stopped? Can the Pac-12 get some sort of media deal? So much more is going to happen this week. And we're talking about the football games going into week 5. A lot of big games, week 5. That'll be for an episode for tomorrow. But please leave your comments down in the comment section below. Week 5, AP, top 25. We still have those top 4 teams. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. I don't expect many changes for the rest of the season in the top 4. I can't wait for the expanded playoffs to happen, hopefully in 2024 or at least 2025. That's going to open to these discussions every week are going to be even more fascinating. The expanded playoffs is best for the regular season. Not worst, it's best. It makes every game more important, not less. So purists out there, you got to listen to me at Peek Around the Corner. All right. Please, again, smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and please share the video with your family and friends. Until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.